thing about Gunna's situation is that even after all that, his post-release success was monumental in his resurgence back to relevancy. He achieved 6 consecutive #1 debuts on the R&B hip hop charts post comeback. We have this Billboard headline that says "Last to First." Gunna
has been dropping some hits. Gunna has been dropping some hits these past 2 years. What is up, everybody? It's your boy Brandon. Stay busy. Back at you with another video, and today we are going to be reacting to the step-by-step rebrand that saved Gunna, and by Roy Bills. And without further ado, we just gonna hop right into it, man, and we're gonna hop right into the video. Let's get it.
Gunna just pulled off arguably one of the best repositions in personal branding in the last decade. While Young Thug has been running around trying to destroy everything,
Gunna has lost mad weight, guys.
He's lost mad weight to position himself as a focused, independent, and disciplined human. And guess what? It's working. We've all been focused on the drama surrounding the YSL situation, but Gunna was locked in on a 3-step formula to set himself up for success, regardless of what some of the industry might think of him. I'm about to break
facts. Gunna was shunned and everything after he got out, bruh. And look, he got in shape, he focused on his music, and he stayed the hell out the way. Out the fucking way. And look at him, bruh. He glowing up.
Exact framework that Gunna used, and more importantly, how you can use this same formula to completely transform how people see your brand, whether you're an artist, entrepreneur, or just trying to level up your own personal brand. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Roy, and my aim is to make a living off of studying personal brands and the content creation space. I'm super excited for this video because Gunna and his team have been running a straight masterclass on repositioning over the past 2 years, and it's a great example of how to reposition yourself and set yourself up for success after a crisis. So if you're into personal branding or the content creation space, make sure you smack that like button and subscribe so you can stick around for videos like this. So as we get through this presentation in this video, you're going to see the word masterclass a lot, because again, that's exactly what Gunna and his team have been doing, putting on an absolute masterclass in repositioning over the past 2 years. Just as a quick overview, if you aren't super tuned in with what's been going on with Gunna in this whole YSL case, he has managed to successfully transform from a controversial figure to a wellness advocate and community leader while maintaining his quality of music post incarceration. And when I say controversial figure, I don't necessarily mean Gunna himself was controversial. I just mean that the situation surrounding Gunna was very controversial, with the whole snitching and all those kinds of allegations that were laid onto him. And in my opinion, he's performing a live demonstration of how you can strategically flip from crisis management to sustained commercial success and still maintain cultural relevance, even if it appears negative to your peers, but not the audience. So again, you can have folks in your industry that are hating.
That is facts. It low-key, honestly, that is mad facts. All Gunna really did was he said, fuck this. If they not gonna fuck with me, fuck it. They don't gotta fuck with me, right? Fuck it. They don't gotta fuck with me. I'ma just do me. And that's what he did, bro. He locked the fuck in and he been doing him. And look at him, bro.
On you or don't want you to succeed, but as long as your friends, family, and your audience are on board and speaking positively of you and what you're putting out, then none of it really matters. And unless you've been living under a rock, I'm sure you know at least some of the stuff that's going on in this YSL case with Gunna, Young Thug, and a couple of other YSL members. But as a quick summary, Gunna made a out for plea deal in December of 2022, which in theory would let him maintain innocence while accepting guilt. Now, anytime you see this word plea deal get thrown around in the rap and hip hop culture, you're automatically labeled a snitch, right? That's why I said in theory it should maintain innocence, but in all actuality, the whole industry is pretty.
They don't even understand the deal that he got.
Now this led to him only serving 7 months of time served, plus he got a 4-year suspended sentence with community service. And in my eyes, this decision proved important as it freed him to begin his immediate comeback, while Young Thug and others still remained in jail for another 2 years after he struck that plea deal. Now this allowed him to get the edge with the fans because he had a 2-year runway for him to kind of operate in his new lane and reposition himself as someone that was a healed soul or a wellness advocate or someone that was purely focusing on trying to be the best version of themselves. Gunna has really hit the gold mine in terms of
Gunna, that's low-key facts. Gunna with the
industry. And as a side note, I really want you guys to see just how bad Gunna had it coming out of jail. We see here in this January 18, 2023 article, so about 2 months after he was released, kind of summarizing exactly where his personal brand was at the time when he was released, where the headline reads, "The court screwed Gunna, now he's being shunned by his peers." The rapper finds himself himself squeezed between the criminal justice system and the rap world, neither of which is as humane as it claims to be. And then the article goes on to say the arrest of Young Thug, Gunna, and other YSL associates in last May's RICO case elicited a unified response from within the rap world, right? Fans and other musicians resoundingly proclaimed free Gunna, free Young Thug when they first went in, but after his release in December following the Alfred plea deal that gave him time served and a 5-year suspended sentence, few people in the rap world celebrated, since footage of the Georgia plea hearing leaked and the world saw him affirm Fulton County prosecutors' assertion that YSL is a gang and YSL must end. He's been deemed as a snitch. YSL members, as well as other rappers like Polo G, Meek Mill, Lil Baby, Lil Durk, have all unfollowed him on Instagram, and fans believe,
which is crazy, bro. Because guys, if you look at the plea deal, Gunna really did not snitch on anybody. You know what I'm saying? He did not really snitch on nobody, bro. And the fact that all these people unfollowed him, bro, you a snitch, you a bitch, you a fat fuck, is insane. Like, it's low-key insane, bro. How, like, just so hive-minded everybody is.
they've been throwing slide disses at him in certain verses and whatnot, but this is a great example of what him and his team was faced with when they came out of jail and just how bad they had it in the industry. Because one thing you got to keep in mind is that if you're labeled with that snitch or that rat in the hip-hop industry, you might as well kiss your career goodbye, because that's damn near
pretty much kiss.
And if you don't believe me, go ahead and ask 6ix9ine. Now, the beautiful thing about Gunna's situation is that even after all that, his post-release success was monumental in his resurgence back to relevancy. He achieved 6 consecutive #1 debuts on the R&B hip-hop charts post-comeback. We have this Billboard headline that says last to first. Gunna
has been dropping some hits. Gunna has been dropping some hits these past 2 years.
6th #1 on top of R&B and hip-hop albums chart. He has also generated over 1 billion streams for his comeback single Fuck You Mean, and this was essentially his first single post jail after the Bread and Butter single. And we can see on his YouTube page that this song has over 100 million plays just on YouTube. So the music has honestly played a key pivotal role in Gunna seeing a resurgence in his career. He's also sold out arena tours across North America after facing backlash and snitching allegations, and this is all happening while his own peers, his own YSL members, and other people that he consider friends are labeling.
This is what happens when you focus on yourself, chat. I'm not gonna lie, like, even for me, like, I feel like the most success that I've ever achieved is me just being consistent. You be consistent, you worry about yourself, you don't compare yourself to other people, and you just keep doing your thing, and good shit's gonna happen, bro.
Him with that big snitch word and trying to blackball him from the industry, or just not even speaking on his name at all. Now, there is a whole timeline of the Young Thug YSL Gunna drama that I'm not going to get into in this video, just because I want to focus purely on the step-by-step rebrand of Gunna. But if you are curious, you can go get this presentation in the description below. Then you can feel free to click on this Billboard article or go ahead and search it up on YouTube. There's literally hundreds of videos to pick from. Now, I keep mentioning Young Thug because I hope that this video gets enough love to where I can make my own video on the downfall of Young Thug's personal brand post his release, because it's really a masterclass in how not to come out of jail. Sky's the limit for Young Thug to go, and he literally went the absolute wrong way. I do not know who's on his team and who's telling him to do.
Yo, did y'all see the Young Thug tweets? Because he low-key looked like mad sassy, like he was just being like a bitch about it, bro. Like,
but just for a quick example, he's been running around doing these weird ass podcast appearances. He's been shooting off random tweets that he deletes a couple hours later. He's been begging for his friends to call him back. He's even made a song.
Hold on, let's read that tweet. Let's read that tweet.
On the begging for his friend.
William, what's understood ain't never got to be explained. I'm with Cha forever. Young Thug speaks on Lil Baby in a now deleted post. Oh shit.
To call him back. He's even made a song apologizing to everyone that he did wrong on the leaked jail calls that have been going viral over the past month or so. And he's been dropping some very strange music.
Yo, this was insane, bro. Like, did y'all hear this shit? Like, this was insane, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Fuck Young Thug, bro.
He just dropped an album literally the other day. It was like a shadow drop almost of him being white or light skinned on the cover. It's just, it's not making any sense. It honestly makes him look a little bit weird or a little bit off. But you know, at the end of the day,
majorly off.
He did build YSL. He is a media mogul at this point. Now, Gunna's strategy has essentially been a polar opposite, a complete contrast to what Young Thug is doing. He's pretty much stayed silent. He stayed out the way. He hasn't made any real public announcement or any statement regarding the situation. He's always wished love. He's pretty much been a stoic throughout this process. And And that's honestly the right way to go about it. So he stuck to the music. He's honestly leaned into women, and that being more of his target audience now, since he's not really making music for the Atlanta drill scene. And obviously the big one is he chose health, wellness, and growth as his new angle, which right now in 2025 is a great angle to choose because it's reaching massive heights. And we see that all over Instagram, all over Twitter, all over all social media.
Health
where
and wellness, bro.
Influencers are really,
especially here in America, because just like so many people are unhealthy here, bro. So many fucking people are unhealthy. So when it's just like you see someone's fit, they're running and shit, because most people don't do that shit. Most people do not do any form of exercise at all every day, except other than walk up and down their steps if they have steps, or walk at work, bruh.
eyes right now. So now that we got that out the way, we can finally talk about the 3-step formula to Gunna's surgence. So again, while everyone was focused on the drama, Gunna was locked in on a strategic framework to set himself up as untouchable in the industry. And I really want you guys to focus in on this part, because
Gunna really lost mad weight,
the value and then applying it to your own brand, personal brand, whatever it is. So step 1 is a visible proof of change. You want a physical transformation and lifestyle shifts that cannot be denied. Step number 2 is
that is facts, guys. The gym is always the start. It's always the start to get your life right. Just getting your body right.
you need to frame the new narrative, right?
Because it just builds so much discipline, bro. It takes discipline to build muscles. It takes discipline to get in shape.
Need strategic storytelling that positions the transformation. And last but not least, we have step 3, where we need to secure market validation, partnerships and collaborations that cement the new position that you were vying for. So let's understand where Gunna was at before he went into his reposition. So he was featured on Crime Stoppers. I remember that this was going somewhat viral. He was already almost labeled a snitch because he went on some Crime Stoppers TV show and was basically helping this investigative crew figure out who murdered his cousin, I believe. So people were already trying to say Gunna was a snitch. He was also viewed as Young Thug's.
How is that fucked up? He's trying to figure out who murdered his cousin, bro. What the fuck, bro?
Right, so if somebody back in the day saw Gunna, they would quickly be like, okay, well, where's Young Thug at, right? Like, his name didn't carry the weight that it did now. He was just kind of Young Thug's side piece. He was just a YSL.
I'm not gonna lie, Gunna be putting on nice fits. What the fuck is this, bro? Hold on, let me move the camera for y'all, bro. This shit look crazy, bro. What the fuck is that? Like, my nigga got on stripper boots, bro. Like, come on, twin. I know you got better drip than that, Gunna. I know you got that drip. Way better drip than that. Like, that shit look insane to me, bro. That shit deadass looks insane to me. Like, what the fuck?
Member, another YSL member. He was essentially
and it looked like he got it looked like he got a motherfucking see-through shirt on, bro.
Beta within the relationship. He was also even back then pushing the whole fashion agenda, the fashion narrative. Like, he wanted to be a fashionista. He was putting shit on.
And the pants mad tight too. Like, damn, Gunna, like,
on back in the day, right? He's still doing that to this day, but back then, when you're chunky, you're overweight, you drink lean and shit, it just doesn't hit the same, right? And we see here iconic photo that Rihanna put on for Halloween. This got millions and millions of views, and people were kind of laughing at Gunna. And he took the joke well, but this kind of gives you a sense of like what people thought of him, right? Just a big wide body kid that made decent music but was just Young Thug's side piece, and like spent a lot of money on clothes that didn't really fit him well. So Gunna's original brand image was problematic. He was seen as secondary to Young Thug, lacking his own distinct identity and respect in the industry. And this obviously had a myriad of public perception challenges where the industry was very uncertain of who Gunna was. There were tons of rumors flying around as to who Gunna is. Is he a snitch? Is he not? And the industry began to distance himself once they were both in jail and once the idea of the plea deal coming out was set on the table. So the brand after the reposition, Gunna, aka The Last One, right? And this is his album that he just dropped called The Last One. He had the silent strategy, which I've been speaking about. He chose to stay silent and not say much. Remaining silent was actually very strategic and classy.
Focusing on yourself,
he had this approach of y'all can take
thing.
it how you want to take it. I'm healing or I'm healed at this point. I'm gonna fall back and let y'all tap in with me when y'all good and ready, right? He also had the comeback where he dropped Fuck You Mean. He had great album reviews since then. People have been playing his music over and over again, proving that the silence and focus can beat the chaos. Now, this was a very risky play, right? Because potential industry backballing and career limitations could have kept going if he had too many consecutive missteps upon his release. So what do I mean by that? He could have got out here and went on 1,000 different podcasts.
Facts. That is also big facts. That's what I'm saying. It's good that Gunna just focused on himself and been silent. Because, like, look at the contrast. Look at Young Thug, right? Young Thug is over here like, oh, what the fuck? Like, that nigga a snitch. Or, like, he talking about the whole situation. He's apologizing to people. He's doing this. He's doing that. He's got all these posts of him in the media. Gunna, not saying shit. Just focusing on himself, bro.
He could have made 1,000 different statements. He could have tweeted 1,000 different times. He could have done a lot of stuff to fuck up the perception from the industry, from his peers, and from the fans if he just went out and just was telling everybody, I ain't no snitch, I ain't did this and this, and niggas ain't real, and woo, 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 all the shit, right? But he didn't chose to do that. He chose to stick to the music for the most part, do a couple of interviews that were centered around the music, and make compelling endorsements and sponsorship deals that would align with his new image. And he also dropped an album called The Last One that was supposed to be the last one on the YSL label. This implies that this is the last of the old Gunna, and that he has reached the crescendo of his evolution, right? Like, he's pretty much saying Gunna is in the past, that was the last one, this new Gunna that y'all see, this is for me, this is this is the new Gunna, this is the new and improved Gunna. So getting back into
very
those three
Shakespeare,
steps,
very
pillar
poetry.
one, which is that visible proof of change, right? So we need social proof and behavioral evidence. This leverages the psychological principle that people believe what they can see and verify themselves, making the transformation undeniable. That's the important part of the visible proof of change step, is that you want to make the transformation undeniable. Visual evidence creates cognitive anchoring. When audiences can physically observe change, it overrides skepticism and builds instant credibility for the new brand positioning. Now he's all about his fitness grind. He has a personal trainer. He's in the lab. He's cooking. He's trying to get to his best self, right? Who is going to root against that? Nobody, right? Everybody wants to be the best version of themselves, and you can't be mad at Gunna trying to do the same. So the key principle here is the undeniable proof of discipline in Gunna's example, but you want the undeniable proof of something, right? Of the undeniable proof of consistency, the undeniable proof of discipline, the undeniable proof of trust, of honesty, whatever it is, right? You just want it to be undeniable. And the takeaway for all you creators out there is that your reposition needs some sort of anchor in the form of proof, right? Make it visible so people cannot deny the change. That's huge. Now, step two, pillar two, framing the new narrative, okay? Strategic storytelling and semantic anchoring. The album title, The Last One, uses a narrative framing to create a clear before and after story that audiences can easily understand and share. This taps into the marketing principle that humans process information through stories, and giving the transformation a name makes it memorable and repeatable. So, I mean, Gunna has done a lot of stuff over the past couple of months now. He's introduced his Run Club. He's had the album The Last One.
Yo, I can't believe Gunna got a Run Club, bro. Like, niggas used to really deadass make fun of Gunna, bro. Like, there used to be so many jokes all over about Gunna being out of shape, bro.
Partnerships with Under Armour. I mean, honestly, the list goes on and on and on. He and his team have done a great job of framing the new narrative of Gunna. So the key insight that I have for y'all here is, don't just say you changed, frame it and document it and explain what this new you is, whether it be through music, content, an essay. I don't give a fuck what it is, but just explain to the audience and take them along this ride, because they want to be taken along. And last but not least is pillar three, securing market validation. He had international collaborations on his last album, The Last One, with partnerships like Burna Boy, WizKid, and Asake, positioning himself as a global talent, not just Atlanta based anymore. He also had the Under Armour partnership that I talked about, where he starred in a commercial alongside of Justin Jefferson, positioning himself as an athlete level figure of discipline, or positioning himself as like somewhat of an athlete, right? As someone that takes health and wellness serious. And now that he's done this collab with Under Armour, he even has his own page on their website where he has some of his favorite looks. And I would not be shocked if they go in and have a new Gunna signature line with an emphasis kind of on the streetwear but athletic leisure side. And the strategic positioning that him and his team did here was that they went from controversial rapper to an athlete level figure of discipline, and these moves unlock new markets, partners, and revenue streams, which is huge, right? Especially for someone
Big facts
who doesn't have the
back. Like, this guy is smart, bro. Everybody, we're gonna subscribe to him after the video. He's smart, bro. He's actually smart. He's really breaking it down. It makes sense, yeah.
From his label anymore. He's creating his own revenue streams.
You know, he's in shape. He could do his music thing, still have all his music stuff. Now that he's in shape, he can do the sports stuff. He could even go into the fashion stuff more now, right? Maybe he could walk the runway or something like that, because now he's in shape. He's looking good, athlete, and making the music. He knows the fashion. Like he low-key collecting all the infinity stones and putting his shit together.
Branching outside of rap, which is amazing. And a contrast example of this is, again, I keep hating to beat up on 6ix9ine, but this is why 6ix9ine's rebrands attempts haven't worked as effectively, right? They lack authentic proof and validation from the market around him. So just as a summary, the 3-step formula is show the proof, frame the story, and secure the validation from the market, from the audience, from partnerships, whatever it may be. Okay, so while all brand elements must align to tell one cohesive story, you can't position yourself as someone trying to become their best self while doing the opposite, right? Self-explanatory, but it needs to be said. He couldn't come out, gain all the way back, or challenge anyone who tried to shame his name. Consistency is everything. How you come out is how you should remain when you're doing a reposition. So now I feel like Gunna has kind of protected himself against the industry politics, where he's kind of untouchable at this point, right? Like, why would anyone or any other artist speak on Gunna currently? So let's say you don't agree with him and you think he's a snitch. You come out and say that, you make that statement. Now you're gonna get hate, because what you're essentially saying is that
you're gonna get mad hate, honestly, because now it's like, yo, he's not doing nothing to y'all. Like, why are y'all on his ass? You know, he's doing his own thing. He hasn't said anything about it, and all he did is show love. Come on, bro.
Like someone trying to pursue their best selves, right? Because the audience has already spoke. We still like the creation behind the artist, right? If you were to speak on him and talk down, you're essentially saying, I don't give a fuck how good or how well he's doing in life, or how well he's getting things back in motion for himself. He's a snitch, so therefore I can't fuck with him. That's just, it's not a smart move. If you're an artist in the industry, you might as well just stay silent. So if you speak on him, then you're risking having people prey on your own demise because you don't like seeing someone do very well. It is very important to understand the difference between rebranding and repositioning, right? This is a playbook for reposition, but it's important to understand the difference between the two. So rebranding, right? Well, the definition of rebranding can be viewed as a complete overhaul of a brand's identity, name, visuals, and core message. It also is a transformation of the brand promise and perception, and it's a strategic revamp. It touches every aspect of the brand or of the person that is doing the rebrand. Up here, we have the Burger King timeline of where they started out to where they are now in terms of a brand image and relogo. The key principles of a rebrand is that it goes beyond surface level changes, okay? It requires complete identity shifts, and it is a methodical process. It involves careful planning and execution, okay? So this is not just something that you just wake up one day and say, yeah, I'm rebranded, okay? It's going to be a strategic process. Usually it involves a lot of mood boards. It involves a lot of thinking, a lot of contemplating, to where you can set yourself up
That's
for
big
a perfect
facts.
rebrand.
I'm not gonna lie, guys, you could low-key use his little list for anything you want to do. Like, he actually has the list set down pretty well.
Needs multiple touch points. So
like,
for
he
some
knows
very
what the fuck he's talking
corporations
about
that have went under a rebrand, I chose both Nike and McDonald's, right? McDonald's because they went from a fast food to a quality, somewhat health conscious approach. Now, I'm not trying to say McDonald's is trying to be some kind of leader in the health industry, but they have definitely taken on the approach that people are starting to care about what is in their food. And you can see here that from being solely a purveyor of cheap, unhealthy fast food to a brand that emphasizes quality ingredients, customizable options, and a more health conscious approach, McDonald's has included.
I ain't never seen this shit at McDonald's. This nigga gotta show me what he talking about. Cause y'all ever seen this shit, bro? When has McDonald's ever been healthy? Even now, today in the big 2025.
Included new menu overhauls, restaurant modernizations, and marketing campaigns that focused on freshness and sourcing. Now, it's definitely cap, right? But what they're doing here is they're trying to rebrand to a more health conscious fast food chain. And then we have Nike, right? Which is one of the biggest rebrands in my opinion, because they went from what was purely just a performance running shoe to encompassing to a lifestyle and cultural rebrand. Now they're big in clothes, pop culture. I mean, Nike is everywhere. So repositioning is what Gunna did, and what I think a lot of folks should be looking into if they have a personal brand. So the definition of repositioning is changing the brand's perception and market position, shifting how customers think about your brand while keeping the same name and visuals. And it also is a strategic adjustment as well, but it's to better serve market needs, not necessarily to become a whole new thing. Some of the key principles of repositioning are keep existing brand's identity intact. So you want the same name, logo, and core elements. You want to focus on the perception shift. So essentially changing what the brand represents.
That's what I'm saying. This nigga's smart. He know what he's talking about.
Where you're gonna modify.
This nigga know what he talking about. This is a good video for anything you want to do in life.
Your message, you're going to change a little bit of your value proposition, maybe even change some pricing. And in my opinion, this is a much lower risk than rebranding because it's less extensive, but it does require the market understanding on your end and the audience's end. But in my opinion, it is more risky to rebrand than it is to reposition. Now, brands that mastered repositioning, there's a ton of them, but a couple of ones that just came off my head when I was doing this were Apple, Netflix, and Amazon. Now, Apple repositioned itself as a premium lifestyle brand centered on design, user experience, and an integrated ecosystem. When they were originally just a computer company focused on.
They were just trying to compete with Microsoft with computers. They realized they really couldn't compete that much, so they just, they veered off into the phones. They veered off into the iPads. Everybody loves Apple not because of the hardware that they use specifically. It's the software that they have. It's the sociable software. Like, that's why everybody got an iPhone. You feel me?
On enthusiasts, right? Now they have the iPod, the iPhone, the App Store. They transformed into a global tech giant where they do much more than just computers. So they reposition into a new lane. Netflix, right? This is the big one where they started off as a DVD by mail rental service where they quickly found out that that wasn't the answer. So they repositioned themselves to a online streaming platform. And the rest is history with Netflix, right? The same with Amazon, where they were founded as an online bookstore, but
Amazon has to be the biggest come up out of all of them, though. To go from a online bookstore to like, you know what? Fuck it. We just gonna sell and ship everything.
They dramatically reposition themselves to be the everything store. So you can go on Amazon and find everything, not just books. And that is exactly what a reposition is all about. It's about repositioning yourself to better fit what the market needs. So some of you might be asking, when do I reposition versus when do I rebrand? If your core identity works, but your perception doesn't, or in other words, if the foundation is solid, but the public opinion needs adjustment on what it is you do or who you are, that is a time to reposition. Let's also say that the markets have changed. The market conditions have changed. Your brand foundation is solid, but the landscape shifts. So you might need to reposition at that point just due to the nature of what the audience or what fans or what your target audience needs. You could also be entering some new markets, or you could be recovering from a crisis like Gunna did with his, where he was overcoming something. So that allowed him to blossom into the new reposition naturally. Now, when do you consider rebranding? Well, you're going to rebrand when you have a complete business model shift. So when your entire approach to business is about to change fundamentally, or your name identity actively hurts your goals, right? This is something that 6ix9ine should probably do at this point, is he needs a rebrand, okay? He cannot just keep going on and being the same 6ix9ine that we knew, because he's been blackballed, right? People don't like the old
Okay, that definitely makes more sense. I get that. That makes a lot more sense.
6ix9ine and the old antics that he was putting on. So it's about time for him to rebrand. You might go through a merger or acquisition where you're forced to have a unified identity. So that would also be a cause. And then you also want to consider a rebrand if your brand can't stretch to your new vision, right? Your current identity simply won't work for your future plans. Now, if you need a quick decision framework on when to choose between rebranding and repositioning, I have one here. So let's just go through a couple of them. If you're going to keep your name/logo, you're probably looking at a reposition. If you need a completely new identity, then you're probably going to look at a rebrand. If you have the same audience but a different message, you're looking at a reposition. And if you have a different audience entirely, then it's likely a rebrand, okay? And if you still aren't certain which one you should be doing, or if you even need one, drop a comment below and we'll work through it together. So now to round it off, how can you apply this to your life business? Again, you need to find your visible proof.
It's crazy. I was trying to watch this for some Gunna shit, and shit, we just got educated. I'm not gonna lie.
Your transformation, or
shout out to you.
One if you don't have one. Make it undeniable and measurable, okay? So if you're big as fuck, lose some weight. If you're inconsistent as fuck, become consistent. If you're operating in a ton of different niches, then niche down, okay? These are examples of visible proof where I can come on and click onto your page and know exactly what's going on because it's undeniable. It's the proof is in the pudding. Then once you do that, though, you're going to create that compelling narrative to where you're going to prove it to yourself, and then also build the narrative by failing/growing in public. People love to see that nowadays. Document the journey authentically. We see that all over Instagram right now. People documenting day 26 of trying to lose weight, or day 34 of going to the gym every day, whatever it is, right? People are doing that all across Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and it's working because people like seeing the journey. Then in the end, you want to secure target market validation where you get recognition and partnerships from your desired audience and industry leaders. haters. Let me tell you something. If you do step 1 and 2, then this step 3 will come in naturally. Okay, you don't need to go searching for market validation. You just need to make sure you check both of these boxes at the top, and you will be just fine. And as a quick note to some of y'all out there, a lot of times transformation happen as a byproduct of being selfish and doing what you want to do, not what other people want you to do. So this is just a reminder from random guy on the internet to some random person watching my video. Be selfish. Choose to be selfish. It's okay.
Big
Sometimes
facts,
you're naturally
guys.
drawn to do things for other people or serve other people, but if you want to reposition yourself, if you want to set yourself up for success, you have to be selfish sometimes. Take 3 months, take 6 months, take a year, take 2 years. As much time as you can give to yourself, the better. Okay, pour into yourself and the rest will come. And I want you guys to remember this: discipline and visible changes beat empty promises every time. Authenticity and consistency are non-negotiables in brand transformations. If you can understand this final slide, then you're well on your way to a perfect reposition and you're on your way to newer and newer heights. I wish y'all a ton of success if you're on the content creation, personal branding, marketing journey that everyone seems to be trying to get into lately. Again, if you're still here, make sure you smack that like button, subscribe. Let me know in the comments who you want me to do a step-by-step rebrand for next. And I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one.
That was an amazing video. Like, we learned about Gunna's rebrand, why it worked, how to apply that to ourselves, how to apply that to our outlook on life. That was a great video, man. I'm not gonna lie. If y'all like the video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all thought about it. Did y'all learn something? Did you get educated? And if you didn't fuck with the video, give it a thumbs down. Boo, boo, boo. That shit was ass. That shit was boring. And it's your boy Brandon. Stay busy. I'm seeing you in the next one. Peace.